Greetings, fellow time travelers. Welcome back to Secrets of the Ancients, where we uncover the hidden mysteries of lost civilizations and dive deep into the secrets that shaped our world. I'm your archaeological guide, ready to take you on another mind-bending journey through the Quran. Der Istok de mind resurs des ons actor som de dester distumnar saper. Today we're heading to Egypt, where something absolutely extraordinary is happening near the ancient Temple of Taposiris Magna, just outside Alexandria. What archaeologists have discovered is making the entire world hold its breath, because this isn't just another artifact from the past. This discovery could finally reveal the location of one of history's most sought-after mysteries, the final resting place of Cleopatra VII herself, the last queen of Egypt, whose name will remain carved in history forever. Before we unveil these incredible findings, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss the ancient mysteries we're about to reveal. For more than 2,000 years, her tomb has remained hidden from human eyes, making it one of the most desired and unsolved secrets in world archaeology. Now, after decades of searching, we're finally approaching an answer. But here's the mystery that baffled archaeologists. The discovery only grows more perplexing with each revelation. What they found inside the preliminary chambers didn't just impress researchers, it triggered serious international concern. Unusual materials, ancient toxic compounds, and abnormal biological traces suggest we're facing something far more than just an ordinary ancient burial site. This might be some kind of special time capsule, storing something that, according to the intentions of its creators, should never have surfaced. Scientists have already managed to break through the first chamber, which according to them completely changed usual ideas about Egyptian temple architecture. But what was revealed behind those doors shook the world to its very core. The legendary queen and her lost tomb. Picture this. Over 2,000 years ago, in the year 30 before Christ, the question of where Cleopatra VII and her beloved Roman general Mark Antony were laid to rest became one of history's most complex puzzles. These prominent figures, whose tragic connection and death influenced the fate of entire empires, died together, marking the symbolic end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and Egypt's loss of independence. Ancient historians like Plutarch and Suetonius, who wrote decades later, described in detail the circumstances of the famous couple's death. Antony, defeated and desperate, fell on his own sword, while Cleopatra, according to legend, accepted death from the bite of a royal cobra, the royal serpent, symbol of pharaonic power. Ancient sources claim they were buried together in a tomb befitting their status. But here's what will blow your mind. The exact location of this burial was never officially recorded. Although Octavian himself, the future Emperor Augustus, allowed the burial, it was believed the tomb was exceptional in luxury, and located either near or directly inside the Temple of Isis, goddess of motherhood, magic, and protection. Cleopatra, who was revered as an earthly incarnation of Isis, built temples in her honor herself. When the Mediterranean swallowed history, but time did not spare the city ruled by the queen, Alexandria, one of the greatest centers of ancient civilization, survived destructive earthquakes, devastating tsunami waves, and the constant advancement of the Mediterranean Sea. Over centuries, the waters literally swallowed royal districts and many sacred buildings, of which only traces of past grandeur remained concealed beneath layers of sand and salt water. Palace complexes, the legendary library, and perhaps large parts of history related to Cleopatra's reign all disappeared beneath the waves. The queen's tomb became an elusive legend for centuries, a hollow whisper passed from one ancient chronicle to another. Every lost stone, every destroyed inscription was nothing more than fragile hints that it once existed. Coins bearing Cleopatra's image, fragments of statues, pieces of architectural details, all of this was just small pieces of a giant mosaic that no one could assemble. Researchers and historians, marine archaeologists, and even treasure hunters repeatedly embarked on searches that always ended in failure. No convincing evidence, no sarcophagus, no signatures, no chambers with royal remains were ever found. But in recent decades, everything changed. This discovery will blow your mind. A combination of the latest technology and growing interest in underwater archaeology gave new hope to the centuries-long search. sonar methods and underwater mapping, geophysical research and deep-sea excavations made it possible to explore lands previously considered inaccessible. The first to make significant progress was French marine archaeologist Frank Gaudiot. His expeditions in the late 20th century in the waters of Alexandria practically rewrote the map of the ancient underwater city. Using advanced techniques, precise terrain analysis and complex diving operations, Gaudiot discovered massive columns, huge architectural blocks, magnificently carved statues, as well as numerous artifacts, including coins bearing images of representatives of the Ptolemaic dynasty and cult objects. These findings caused a huge sensation because they allowed identification of parts of Cleopatra's palace and the massive Temple of Isis, which played a crucial role in the religious life of the Ptolemies. Underwater monuments hidden for centuries beneath the sea surface came to life, revealing individual details of the grandeur of the dynasty that once ruled Egypt. However, despite the stunning discoveries, the main mystery remained unsolved. No burial chambers or traces of royal burial in the location of the palace complex were found. This was evidence that Cleopatra and Mark Antony's tomb was unlikely to be located in the flooded royal quarters. This is where the Temple of Taposiris Magna appeared on the horizon, a place whose name means the Great Tomb of Osiris and, honestly, it sounds like an echo of ancient legends. This massive temple complex, located about 45 kilometers southwest of Alexandria, was built during the reign of King Ptolemy II Philadelphus, who was seeking to unite Greek and Egyptian religious traditions in one sacred space. Despite its grandeur, Taposiris Magna was long seen as exclusively for religious rituals and service to the gods, but not as a royal cemetery. The situation changed when Dominican archaeologist Dr. Kathleen Martinez, who spent years studying Cleopatra, proposed a bold and non-traditional hypothesis. She suggested that Cleopatra might have deliberately chosen a burial site symbolically connected to the legend of Isis and Osiris because she sought to appear in the image of a living goddess. In the myth, Isis hides Osiris's body from Seth in a secret tomb, ensuring his rebirth. Martinez concluded that if Cleopatra sought to unite her destiny with the image of Isis, she could choose exactly the type of place that would reflect this legend and hide her remains, just as Isis hid Osiris's body. After excavation work began in 2005, Kathleen Martinez and her team gradually discovered under Taposiris Magna a branched underground network of columns, passages, and separate burial niches hidden beneath the surface ruins. Ptolemaic statues, religious objects, masks, amulets, and numerous coins bearing Cleopatra's image were found in these chambers, indicating an important connection between the queen and this temple. However, despite numerous discoveries, Cleopatra's tomb itself remained invisible, as if deliberately hidden under the thickness of centuries. By 2022, thanks to three-dimensional ground-penetrating radar and seismic surveys beneath the temple, an abnormal structure was revealed, an incredibly long tunnel approximately 1,300 meters carved right into the rock. It was honestly amazing in its precision of execution and design, reminiscent of ancient Greek channels, as if it was created for some special ritual or maybe even protective purposes. The passage was part of a complex underground network and clearly had sacred meaning, but the path along it turned out to be dangerous. Groundwater had partially flooded the passage, the walls were weakened by ancient soil movements, and every single step carried the risk of collapse. At the end of this long underground tunnel, archaeologists emerged into a sealed passage, and its stones were blackened, as if they'd once been exposed to a really strong fire. The atmosphere changed dramatically, the air got heavy, devices started giving malfunctions, and even the light from lamps seemed dimmer. These strange conditions indicated that something was hidden behind the wall, something that had remained isolated for a very long time. Due to the danger of collapse, work was temporarily suspended, but news of the discovery soon became known to the public, the scientific community, and the press, maximizing pressure on the team. Excavations continued, and soon the passage, which was called the Paths of Osiris, began to reveal its secrets. Dozens of burial chambers containing perfectly preserved mummies decorated with linen headbands and traces of gilding were revealed on its walls. A mummy, bearing a scarab of pure gold on the chest, stood out especially, a symbol of eternal protection. Inside were coins bearing Cleopatra's image, statues of Ptolemy XII, and inscriptions glorifying Osiris, and the idea of rebirth. In one cell, there were two sarcophagi next to each other, and on a stone slab carved nearby was a mysterious inscription, saying the one who went with Isis and who fell by the blade, as if a veiled reference to the fate of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. But here's the mystery that baffled archaeologists. Seismic sensors began recording weak rhythmic vibrations emanating from the depths of the sealed chamber. They didn't seem like usual tectonic fluctuations, and interested engineers and geologists. These strange pulses reinforced the feeling that something was hidden underground, something carefully concealed by ancient priests. At the same time, archaeologists found an obsidian tablet with an image of Isis and Osiris in embrace, and beneath them a warning: "Do not disturb the lovers sleeping in silence. Their union preserves balance." Nearby was a melted gold plate with the names Cleopatra Theophilopator and Marcus Antonius carved in Latin and Greek. Before the camera was a massive wall of granite and lead, as if fused together by ancient fire. The decision to open the section was not an easy matter. It carried archaeological, political, religious, and moral importance. Security measures were reinforced. The military arrived at the access site. Communications were cut around the object, confirming the unusual seriousness of the situation and potential consequences